I think it definitely did, because I mean I was proud to be heavily involved in that campaign, from the necessary grunt work, if you will, up front, of going out and meeting voters at the transfer stations and grocery stores, getting signatures, to being in the call center, actually here in Littleton, where we're doing the interview, to make calls. And it's definitely different, because I think the attack style of politics, people were fed up with it, although it had always worked. So that's why they kept doing it. And I think part of what people saw is Scott Brown had been out there enough with his message, and talking about working across party lines, and it's the way he carries himself, that when those attack ads started, he was inoculated to a certain extent. People just said, that's not Scott. And then the response by the other side was to ratchet up the attacks even more and more. And Scott said many times, lovely person, working hard, but we disagree. And that's what my campaign will be about. And I think any campaign, it's not the things that when you're trying to elect your state rep or senator or governor, it's not about what do you agree on, it's what are the differences. And I appreciate the opportunity with the voters in the next many months leading up to November 2nd to talk about the issues that are important to them, to lay out where I am. And I think they'll see the differences that are important to them. I hope that I'll earn their vote on the 2nd, and have that, the 2nd of November, and have that honor of representing them and being an independent voice, and a lot of the hard work, like you said, and this is how I kind of have characterized it, my work life, as a problem solver, and that's what I hope to go up to do in the State House, because there are a lot of deep, long-standing problems that we have to address. I mean, the numbers don't lie. We are on an unsustainable path. We're driving more and more people out of the state, and using one-time money to balance the budget and things like that. It's not sustainable. So we have to go make some are going to be common sense, easy reforms. Once again, you've pulled the dome off the State House, and as we see, look at all this redundancy in here, and this doesn't seem like a smart way to do business. And we haven't even talked about the local municipal. I visit with my municipal government officials quite a bit, go to their meetings, and the unfunded mandates and the rules that are put on them and imposed on them from the state level, they may have made sense when they put them in place 50 years ago or 30 years ago, but they're just not allowing the governments, the local governments, to have the control and flexibility they need with things like health insurance, and again, these unfunded mandates, and get to prevailing wage laws and things like that. And I'm kind of, as a small government, local control type of guy, philosophically, we need to let the local government officials and the towns have more of that flexibility. And also, local aid comes up every year, and we got to give those predictable numbers to the towns earlier in the budget cycle, so that they can count on them. And that, you talk about top priorities as a state representative, we need to give those solid local aid numbers to the folks, and make sure that they're at least for this year, there's proposals to level fund it, which I certainly support. And folks on the other side might say, well, if you're going to level fund local aid, and the tax revenue is still a problem, how do you address that? Well, that's part of the tough prioritization we have to say is, look, number one, local aid is level funded, and we got to go after, like I said, healthcare. Healthcare is such a huge part of the state budget, because we do have the universal system, and we've got where there's subsidized healthcare in the system we have. While it's very helpful to have everybody with coverage, there's, again, a very solid opportunity to save a lot of money. And if you save 1 or 2% in the area of the healthcare budget for Massachusetts, that's a big number. Yeah. It adds up in a big hurry. So
I'm sure that your colleague at the State House, when you are elected, they will appreciate you, and because you are not only outspoken, you seem like you're speaking from the heart, and no criticism from either side, trying to work together, and everybody has different opinion. That's why we have the free will of thinking, thank God for that, right? And just trying to solve problem the best way you can, without fighting, without disagreeing to a point where, they isolate you in a sense that they don't want you to participate. You are in a minority right now, and who knows if they continue that way, their majority will become minority. So they have to be careful too. They have to be responsible. They have to be courteous to one another, and I think politics can work very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I think again, my heritage as a lifelong independent, I've seen too much of the partisan attacks on me. You know, this side's wrong and this one's right, and it's like, no, they have a different philosophical view on issues, but we can be respectful. And you know, I'm gonna be out there in the next several months, talking about who I am, what I stand for, and certainly when you get down to the issues, I've got to point out the differences, because again, they don't care where you agree with your opponent. It's the differences, and then I'll just ask them to think about what they want the direct, how we got to the problem we have, and a lot of that I think is because of the lack of balance and the focus that we have to have on jobs and the economy and such. And again, I do come out of that private sector world, and I understand when I'm talking to small businesses what the challenges are, and a lot of it is, it's been brought on by the state government that we have, and I just hope they'll give me that opportunity to again, get to know who I am, but learn where I am on the differences, and just evaluate it that way. Stay out of the attacks and that kind of stuff. People have shown they're fed up with that, and there'll be plenty of differences when they look at their candidates and where we are on the issues that are important to them to, I think, make a very clear choice when they get to the voting booth.
I hope people understand in politics. I can recall Reagan, that the president that passed away, he used to go for lunch for O'Neill, which used to be the Speaker of the House of Massachusetts.
Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan.
We were very proud of Mr. O'Neill, and so I think everybody should get along together. No matter which party you are, if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, we all human beings, we all American, and we have to work together. I wanted to thank you for watching this program. I only wanted to say it's up to you to vote. It's up to you to take the choice. It's up to you to recognize the gentleman is willing to serve you. So at the election day, it's up to you. God bless. This is Gino Frattallone from Littleton. Thank you for watching.